Monkey had a thought this week. How many Naya decks am I allowed to make? Because I keep finding new commanders, and I'm gonna be honest, some are pretty tasty.
Okay, so I had this issue back when I wanted to play nothing but Gruul, and then I realized I could just throw all of them in Xenagos. So here's my thought process to you. Find a commander you can just throw all the commanders you want to build around into one deck. I don't know who that is. I don't know how you figure that out. Good luck, buddy.
That's too easy of an answer, and I will reject it.
Who's the answer?
No, it's too easy of an answer. Like, you're giving me too easy of an answer to the question, and I'm going to reject it.
You wanted me to give you, like, some elaborate...
I want you to tell me I was supposed to have 9, and I was going to get to that.
No, definitely not. No, just don't do that. Because that's overwhelming and annoying. Not for the other players, but for you.
It's like a lot of sleeves, too.
Exactly. See, yeah, that's 900 sleeves you got to worry about. That's a weird thing to think about. If you have 10 commander decks, you have 1,000 sleeves just chilling.
What if you have like 1,500 sleeves that you're not using?
That's fine. But I'm just saying. Welcome back to Hometown Commander. The show where we talk about the format that we love and hate. I'm glad I remembered that. But,
love and hate.
Yeah, I'm glad that's fantastic. That was good. Let's get right into it. We're just gonna slide right into it. Millsy, here's what we're gonna do today.
Quay.
So, Quay. Who's
Quay.
Quay? Josh Lee Quay.
Josh Lee Quay. I said K, but it came out Quay. So we out here, baby. Let's do it.
It counts.
We out here. Let's do it.
So here's what we're gonna do. All
okay.
Right. So I have taken 10 on my trusty dusty, handy dandy notebook.
Okay.
Taking 10 commanders that have.
But it's an iPad.
You got me there.
You got me.
No. So I've taken 10 commanders that have come out this year.
Okay.
And I am...
The Year of Our Lord 2024?
Yes. That is 3 sets that have come out this year. That's MKM. That's Murders at Karlov Manor.
Near Karlov Manor, around Karlov Manor.
I like saying Markov Manor just to make people mad. Anyway, Fallout, because it technically wasn't a set, but it was a set, but it is a set.
Had a lot of legendaries.
It had a lot of legendaries, so yes. And some good commanders out of it. And then also what we just saw a couple weeks ago, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So,
yes.
Heyo, that's 3. There was a lot of legendaries that came out in all of those sets together, collectively. So what I did was I took 10 of them.
Gotta be at least a solid 60, if not more.
Probably. But I took 10 of them.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shotgun them at you. So randomly I'm just going to be like, this person. We're going to give you a chance to look at it. And what you're going to do is you're going to rank it to see if it's either first on the list or last on the list based off of EDH rec. So basically what I did was I took 10 random, 10 of like kind of popular-ish, what I thought would be fun to talk about commanders. I didn't want to just take like, I don't know, insert random legendary here.
Doc Orlock,
he's good. What do you mean?
The uncommon legendary.
He's good. What do you mean? No, I just do want to take somebody random, and I just want to talk about something fun. What we're going to do, though, is Millsy's going to blind rank them. So what I mean by that is he's going to not know the rank. He's going to have the availability, though, as soon as I say, like, when you rank it and you're, like, locked in, I'll say what you ranked it as, and then I'll say what EDH ranks it as. So it may not be actually number 1. So, like, if I gave you Dark Arlock, which I did not.
Rip. Super rip.
Which I did not.
I've not looked at the list. I have no idea what he's going to say.
No, I did not actually.
But you said of the 10 of them comparatively. Like, I'm not guessing whether it's number 1 ranked in EDH rec. I'm just guessing whether it's the number 1 ranked of the 10 you're going to give me.
Yeah, if I gave him Dark Arlock, and Dark Arlock was technically like ranked 50 right now in the past month on EDH rec, then no, he wouldn't say 50. He would still say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. And then I would kind of go off and be like, okay, this is where he sits between all the 10 that I chose. Cool. So on and so forth. And then we just continue.
But it's going to be a fun conversation about commanders. Yeah. Whether we think they're viable, how well played do we think they are, which is important.
They're good. What do you mean?
Commanders be good. It's this crazy thing.
Commanders be good.
It's almost like our format relies on that. Who would have thought? Okay, I'm just going to say I have no idea what he's going to say. I have not looked at this list. I mean, there is a shot that I have, I know at least a few of them. Wing, wing, nudge, nudge, because I brewed some decks for the channel, but,
What do you mean? I didn't go off any of that. I'm just kidding. What? Are you ready for the first one?
Let's do it.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Are you ready?
No, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So the first one is...
I'm going to try to challenge myself to not look the card up if possible.
Okay, cool. This one's easy then. It is Stella Lee wild card.
Okay, so very new of the 3 sets. This is our Precon commander for the quick draw Precon.
Yep.
3 mana, is it commander?
Is it commander?
Is it? Stella Lee's an odd one, right? Because on the face value, I think a lot of people don't see the danger of Stella Lee.
Oh, dude, she's nuts.
But when you start to realize that she can go infinite, which is always a fun thing, I think people probably cared a lot about that. So the question becomes, how highly do I think this is ranked? This is of the last month, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a month where Karlov Manor has been out for at least half of it, so it's probably going to be obscured slightly higher because of that. It's not the most popular commander of Thunder Junction for sure, so I don't think it's one. But I see it being popular. The question becomes, what do I think in Thunder Junction is more popular than it that could be on this list? I'll go like 3 or 4. Like, I don't think this is the most popular commander from Thunder Junction by any means, because I think there's a couple that are going to be a lot more popular, especially like ones that are probably even like me more popular. The problem is I know it's going to be skewed higher because it's the last month.
Yeah.
You're not saying total, because total decks, right? Because then that would factor in more of those commanders from Fallout and from Karlov Manor.
Yeah.
When you're skewing it to the last month, I think Thunder Junction commanders are going to get skewed upward because it's new. Right,
yeah.
Probably.
That's not bad at all.
So I'm going to go comparatively on the list of 10 that you're giving me. I'll say number 3.
We're going to say number 3. So as of right now, Stella Lee, for this list, sits at number 4.
Okay, that's not surprising.
Yeah. She is...
Like I said, I kind of figured it'd be 3 to 4, because I could see it being a lot of popularity once people figured out those combos that exist. There's 3 or 4 cards that people have found that go infinite with Stella, as long as it's your 3rd spell on a turn. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll spoil that.
Because her ability is tap to copy a spell as long as you cast at least 3 spells this turn. Mm-hmm. And basically what the combo is people are casting a spell that'll either untap Stella or gain control of it or make a copy of her or whatever with haste, and then you tap her again to continue copying that spell. So you just basically create an infinite amount of copies, and as long as you have some way to pay off copying a spell or casting a spell, you can find your combo.
Yep. I like Stella Lee. I thought she was a really cool commander.
I'm trying to know what the other 3 that are higher than her, but I feel like I'll know them when I hear them.
Maybe. All right.
Right, so 1 for 1 so far. I'm not needing to look up the card.
Nice.
That's again, my goal is try to get through all 10 without having to look up the card. But of course, that will be on screen for the viewer.
But 0 for 1 getting it right?
Yeah.
We ain't worried about that.
I described exactly what people are doing with the deck. I feel like that's good enough.
Hey, there you go. Well, gotta be right, Millsy.
I do setups now.
All right, next one is Voya, however you say it. Jaws.
Jaw of the Conclave.
Of the Conclave.
So,
what the heck
this is going to be an odd example of one, because I think this is going to get skewed downward because of all the new cards, right? If we're looking in the last month, Voya, I think, if we're looking at decks overall, I would guess it probably has more decks than Stella Lee. If I had to guess, like, overall number.
Okay.
But the question is, how many people in the last month have brewed Voya? Karlov Manor came out in January, February. So we're a couple months removed. Voya's probably missed its popularity train. But Voya's a great commander, right? 5 mana, Naya commander. When it attacks, you put a... +1/+1 counter on each of your creatures for the number of elves you control, and then you draw a card for each wolf you control, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
It has, Vigilance, Trample, Ward? Ward of some cost.
Yep, Vigilance, Trample, Ward 3.
Okay. So here comes the question, right at the end of the day. I know Voya is a popular commander. Arguments could be said that it's probably, one of the best Naya commanders we've gotten this year. The question becomes, where is it on this list relatively of the 10 you're going to give me? I could see it being in the top 3 if it was just number of decks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But the problem is, because we're thinking about the last month, it's going to skew downward because of the number of new OTJ commanders that I imagine are being brewed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with... We said Stoli was 4, and I guess 3. I'm going to go with 5, because I think that it's popular enough that it still has some decks being built, but I think there's going to be some OTJ... Oh. I'm going to go 6, because I still think that it's a popular commander, but I think there's going to be a bunch of OTJ commanders that are going to cascade it down in that list.
Well, you'd be wrong. It's number 3.
Wow. Okay, cool.
People love Voya.
Shout out. Voya's a great deck. I mean, it's a fun deck for sure. It's punishingly good at what it does.
Here's a fun one.
Number 3, really?
Yeah.
That intrigues me. That must mean that there must not be a bunch of OTJ commanders that are like really, really high up on the list, potentially. Okay. That I wouldn't expect. Because I could think of 3 or 4 that I thought would be more popular than Stella, but okay, interesting. I guess we'll learn.
Okay, dear. Here we go. You ready?
Let's do it.
Alright, so this next one is, I believe... Yes, it is the... I'll spoil it. I'll say it is the... No, it's not. Never mind. Can't say that. Moving on. This next one is Gaunty, Canny, Inquisitor.
So this is the commander of the Grand Larceny Precon.
Yep.
He's either 4 or 5. I think he's 4 mana. Sultai.
He is 5 mana, good sir.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of the 2 of those.
He's an expensive boy.
Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, get to basically steal things off the top. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's less popular than Stella for sure.
I think it's less popular than Stella.
Stella's at 4, Voya's at 3, right? So we kind of have this known list now. I know these now. We have them locked in, right? I don't think Gaunty's more popular than Stella. So I'm going to go with... I don't know. If Stella's at 4 and Voya's at 3, I still think Gaunty would be in that 5 to 6 range. I think it's less popular than Stella. I don't think it's 10, though. Like, I think that Gaunty's still popular enough. There's people who care about that strategy.
Stealing cards. Everyone loves stealing cards.
I would probably guess, like, 6 again. I don't think it's high up, but I still think it's got a decent number.
Are you locking in at 6?
Yes, we're locking at 6.
Are you sure you don't want to do 5?
No, but we're going to go with 6.
Good job. You got 6.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Like, I think it's a great commander in its own right, but it's just not... It's not going to be the most popular one from even the Thunder Junction Precon phase commanders themselves.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree.
I like it. I think it's pretty fun. And Felix Five Boots is a commander I'm excited to try out at some point. But
Felix Five Boots is a fun name.
All right, so Void at 3, Stella at 4, Gaunty at 6. Okay, this is starting to... hopefully be information that can help me.
We'll see. Next one is Obika, Splitter of Seconds.
Oh, Obika. She's gonna be high up, even though I just have never understood Obika. To be honest, like, I get it. I get that.
Everybody is loving.
So this is a 4-man, I believe, correct? Grixis commander.
Yep.
I don't recall the ability specifically, but you can take 2 extra upkeeps, basically.
Let me read it for you, good sir. It is... Actually, you can look it up. That's a better idea.
So 4 mana, 2/5 menace. When it deals damage to a player combat, you get that many additional upkeep steps. Oh, so it's just that many. The question here becomes, what are things on our upkeep we're trying to gain? I know this commander's dumb popular, and I get it. Like, I get why it's popular, but it baffles me how popular it is, because I think there's better Grixis commanders that can do a lot of fun things, and 2, like, I think it's because this person's had a card previously.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, the original Obika was really popular for that ability, and for being able to end the turn in, like, games. So I think anytime you get a second commander card of somebody, people, like, freak out.
Yep.
I think this is 1 or 2, because, again, it's more popular than I think it is, which confuses me. So I'm gonna go with 2.
You're gonna go with 2.
I'm gonna go with 2.
She's number 1.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Yeah.
And again, I don't completely get it, but hey, have your fun.
I agree. Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that it's at 1.
I mean, I think you can exploit it a lot. And I think you can do a lot with it. I think there are better Grixis commanders in Grixis colors. I don't know. That's just me.
My problem is it's on combat damage.
Yeah.
There's ways to make it unblockable, but you gotta connect.
You can play swords in this.
That's my problem. But okay, yeah, again, I don't completely get it, but I accept that it's at 1. I have no reason. I can't unaccept it at 1.
I want to know what people are playing in this. I should probably go look at a deck list.
Yeah. Spoilers, I haven't brewed it for the channel yet, and there's a reason why. But
because it's a tough cookie to think about.
Well, I can brew it, but there's no way to play test it.
True.
How do you simulate hitting people and getting all the effects? Okay. All right, so Beak at 1.
Roll a d6, see if you actually...
Voy at 3, Still at 4, Gonti at 6.
Gonti at 6.
Okay, interesting.
All right, you ready for this next one?
I'm going to write this down, because it's public knowledge.
Cool, you do that, buddy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stall.
Stall for time?
Stall for time. What's some of the comments? What do you think about Obika? She's on the screen over there, that's why I pointed right there. I think she's okay. I think her old card still is cooler, honestly. Like, just a tap to do the thing.
It can brutalize a ton of decks. And that's why I like the old one better.
I mean, I've never seen the old one, and I want to really badly.
I have, and I remember in the game I was like, why are you playing this? And then I watched that person just dismantle a combo, and I was like,
that's why you're playing this, yeah. And I think that's what's good about that one.
So I have my notes in front of me. I have the public knowledge.
We're going to play Gonti next.
I have questions, but let's
questions. Not for me. It's not on me,
I have
guys.
so many questions.
It's not on me. This is EDH, right? This is how we know.
All right, let's do it. What do we got next?
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not on my notes. Sorry.
Oh, great heavens.
Where is that? Where am I at? This one's a doozy. I actually don't like this card. I don't like a lot of these cards, actually. But this one, for sure, I don't like. And I don't know why it's on this list.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's do it.
I figured you would like it, so as long as you want to talk about it. This one is the Wise Mothman.
The Wise Mothman. Okay, so the Wise Mothman is a Sultai commander from the Fallout decks.
Correctamundo. Talking Doctor.
Let's see. Whenever it ETBs or deals combat damage to a player, everybody gets a rad counter?
Yep.
And then whenever a player mills one or more non-land cards, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on
say each opponent or each player?
Oh, each player, because you get one as well. That's what I meant. And then whenever anyone mills one or more non-land cards, you can put a +1/+1 counter up to that many creatures you control. Mm-hmm. I expect the Mothman to be popular because it's kind of playing around in that mill space, right? The mill space is always popular and kind of memey, right?
Yeah.
Having played against the Mothman, it is an interesting deck. You'd be surprised at how much mill can affect people, and Mothman is, and the counters are actually relevant. I think it's stronger than I think it's weaker than it looks. I think it looks really strong, but at the end of the day, the rad counters are important, but unless you can mill away people's really good things, you're in trouble, and that's the problem with most mill decks, right? You kind of have to mill enough, otherwise you're not going to stop that player from doing what they're doing. And in fact, I had little to no issue in the Mothman because I had enough in my hand to really propel me forward. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think Mothman's popular though for what it is. I'm gonna go. I don't like it. 7, right underneath Gonti. I think it's popular. There's a shot it could be at 5, but I don't know what else is going to be on this list. And so I think it's lower on the list, but I would not be surprised if it's higher.
It's number 2.
Of course it is.
It is number 2. What'd you guess?
7. Frickin' Mothman.
What a weird card.
I'm now intrigued to know what else is on this list, because,
I really don't like...
I have so much surprise to this, because,
I tried to give a good mix of
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to find out what else is on this list, and it might make more sense. I think I'm reacting to information that I don't know, obviously, so that helps.
I can't wait to tell you where these people are Like when we're gonna look up EA track after we get done with this ranking.
Find out where they are in the ranking.
Dude, your mind's gonna be out the window. So here we go. Next one. I like this card. This is the Gitrog Ravenous Ride.
Oh, I love this deck. I just did this for the channel
this card
last week.
Awesome.
I don't know when this is releasing. If this is releasing in a couple days, then I did this on the channel last week, and this deck took me by surprise. In fact, I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth by saying this, but this is actually my favorite deck I've brewed for OTJ so far. This deck is so much fun.
It's cutting that.
It's bonkers. It is a bonkers deck, and it scares me how bonkers it is. It's not like Corvold combo with a paper bag bomb spinners, but like
what will be?
The deck is insanity. Where do I think it is on this list? Not that high, because I don't feel like people are prioritizing Gitrog.
What? It's a
they
frog,
should
man.
Be. The deck's so good.
It's a frog.
Heck, I'll be honest.
You could put this in Tetsunari.
Hold on, let me take a quick second. Let me think about this.
You could put this in Tetsunari.
I'll be honest. Like, of the commanders I've messed around with, this is the one I would be most willing to build, because this deck is just a ton of fun. But
you ever just think about tribal decks, kindred decks, whatever they call it now, and just think, wow, I could put a frog.
I could put a frog in
a frog deck.
I'm gonna go 8 because I think that Gitrog is really good, but I don't think people value Gitrog enough to have built it.
I mean, why didn't you guess 21st?
Because it's not a legal option for me to guess.
Well, it's number 7 on the list.
Yeah, it's okay. This deck's so much fun. I may proxy this and take it to the shop.
I think you should.
Because this is such...
And I think you should do this.
Golgari Stompy was never something I thought, 1, existed, and 2, would be fun, and I was wrong on both counts.
You should definitely bring it. You should slam Multani and Yargle on the board, and then just hit us as hard as you can, and then just have a good time. 18 damage. 18 damage.
Yeah, this deck, if you haven't seen the...
you should go watch that video.
Listen, other than one of the commanders you talked about, I brewed the rest of them for the channel, but this would be the one so far. I'd be like, go look at that deck. It's a ton of fun, and it makes me so happy as a green player. But other than that, I think I'm ready to move on.
This next one's fun.
I could spend an hour talking about my love for this deck and why I think it's so good. But
so this next one is from Fallout. I liked this one, and you'll understand why when I say it. But then I never actually played it because I didn't play any of the Fallout decks.
You didn't send the email, but you wrote it?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. This is, excuse me, had something in my eye. Mr. House, President and CEO.
Oh, Mr. House. So Mr. House is a Mardu commander.
Uh-huh.
Cares about dice rolling.
Yep. Do you want me to read the
you have the top ability, which lets you...
I don't let you do anything.
The top ability is what makes you the treasures when you roll... I gotta look up Mr. House. I know it's when you roll above a certain result, you get something. I feel like it's a treasure. Okay, when you roll 4 or higher, you make the 3/3 token. 6 or higher, treasure. 4 tap, roll a 6-sided dice plus an additional 6-sided dice for each mana from treasure spent to cast this ability. I'm gonna go 5. There's no way Mr. House isn't 5 on this list. This deck was gotta be dumb popular. It's a Mardu deck. It cares about treasures. It cares about dice. There's people that care about dice. It's not me, but there are people who care.
But I never built
I'm going to lock him in at 5.
You're going to lock him in at 5?
If it's 10 or 8, I'm going to be so mad.
Oh, that'd be hilarious, honestly. But you're actually right. It is 5.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, this commander is really popular, and I get it. Like, it's a fun commander. I think it's good at what it does, mainly because as soon as you realize that you can roll d20s or d12s and get this ability very easily, it becomes a lot better.
Yep. Just play any of the AFR and Baldur's Gate cards.
Also, you get to play one of my favorite dice rolling creatures of all time in Delina Wild Mage and actually get to use it to full effect. And
no, because you don't get to combo it with the Sprite in blue. So.
Yeah, but I mean, you still pretty much are all the time going to hit both of those on rolling a d20.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. You want to go infinite, or you want to just, do the thing?
I want to make value.
Okay. So go infinite, yes.
Yeah.
All right. This next one.
3 left. 8, 9, and 10 are wide open, and I'm very intrigued.
This next one.
I have intrigue.
Is also a Mardu commander.
Question mark?
It is the man, the myth, the legend, the woman herself. Just kidding. It's Vihan Goldwaker.
From OTJ.
From OTJ.
The commander set. This is the one that animates all your treasures at the start of combat.
Which is awesome.
And the creatures. I certainly hope with everything inside of me this is 8, but I don't think it is. It's a great commander, and I
think it's cool.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. This is what I'd want from a treasure commander. Like, this makes me really happy because it combines combat with treasures.
And you can play semi-tribal. It's great.
Yeah. You still use the outlaws to big effect.
Yep.
I'm gonna go 9. I hope it's 8, but I don't think it's that popular. In fact, it might even be 10. But I'm gonna go 9.
Well, that would suck. Because it is 8.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah, I'm glad people actually like this deck. I wish more people would find out that this deck is cool. I think it's the issue with some precons, not like the Fallout decks, because it's Fallout.
Like, I think Olivia's great in her own right. Like, I think she's a great outlaw commander in her own right.
She's definitely better than 99 in my opinion.
But to me, the problem is Vihan is a better treasure commander than Olivia's a outlaw commander, and that's the problem. One, treasures are way more supported. Right. Even though there's some bonkers creatures type under Outlaws, and that deck can get punishingly good. I still think Vahan has a higher ceiling, and that's probably why it's higher up on this list than I imagine Olivia would be. But I think the problem is some people are starting never going to see the card because it's the secondary commander in a deck.
Yep.
You know.
Womp womp.
Also a really fun deck. Again, of the ones we talked to, I really liked my Vahan list. I thought it was good. If you want to check it out over on the channel.
Nice.
I will plug every video I've written. I'm just kidding.
Next up, I think you're going to like this one. It is the Bant Commander. It's Morska, Undersea Sleuth.
So we have 9 or 10. I love Morska. This is a deck that has been really fun. At the start of your turn, you investigate. No maximum hand size. And then when you draw your second card each turn, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on Morska.
She's got a lot of value.
This deck it's been one of my favorites over the last few months that I've got to play because I think it combines what I really like in my green decks with combat into the kind of Azorius side of the artifacts and like caring about the card draw. There's a lot of ways to take it. It's not just, artifact synergies like I thought it was going to be originally. Now here's the problem. I have no idea what the 10th commander you're going to tell me is.
Here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to let you lock in your answer for this one.
And then you're going to tell me what the next commander is and tell me if I'm wrong?
Yep.
You're going to have me guess if I'm wrong. I'm going to go 9. Let's ship it. What's my 10th commander?
9 for Morska.
What's my 10th commander?
Your 10th commander is the goodest of boys. Dogmeat.
Dogmeat?
Everlong.
Oh, I was wrong. There's no way that there's less Dogmeat decks than Morska. So my guess was wrong. I think Dogmeat's at 9 and Morska's at 10.
Well, yeah, so you were right.
Yeah, there's no way. Dogmeat obviously is not the most popular Fallout commander because we've already seen the list. The last month we know Mothman is, but Dogmeat is a great deck. Like it's cool because you can use the junk tokens, right, to get stuff off the top of your deck, but my only problem with Dogmeat isn't the commander, it's the precon. Like, I felt like for a deck that's effectively modified, they did nothing with modified.
Which is kind of frustrating.
Because that was the whole point of modified being a thing in Kamigawa. Like, why just absolutely piss on it and not have it? That's the thing that frustrated me, and that's why I called the deck when I brewed it Dogmeat Modified, because that's what it effectively is.
It is, yeah. When you have... Well, the issue now is like...
I gotta remember what Dogmeat officially says, because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked at it since I brewed it. Okay, whenever your creature that you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. Why not just say whenever a modified creature you control attacks?
I guess because they didn't want to add in like the +1/+1 counters and all the other counters that you can add on to creatures now. I guess they wanted to differentiate
technically, you would add more support for it.
Honestly, they should have just stuck with auras and just said whenever a creature you attack with auras.
No, I get the equipment.
I get it, but if you just want to simplify it, just simplify it all the way down to auras. And I think the deck would have been just fine.
Yeah, No, I don't mind it being auras or equipment.
Well, I guess
both
because
of
they
them are
wanted
viable. To... But again, that's my frustration is why not just make it modified? Yes, you will incur the risk of people playing it as a counters commander, but let's be 100% honest. This is not the best counters commander. Even in Naya, why would you play this as a counter deck? Yeah. You would just get the occasional counter that would come along with some of the cards you would play in the strategy, and I think it would still either be a aura or equipment deck. I think my problem is because you play so many modified cards that care about modified anyway in this deck, I just don't get it. My other biggest problem with Dogmeat is you got to pick one or the other. You're going to end up
I feel like it's a lot of
Jack of all trades, master of none if you try to build both. Like you're going to have to pick auras or equipment and pick that lane and go for it.
Yep. And then you're also going to have to pick like, do you want to go with like the I don't know, like the wide equipment range? Do you want to go the wide auras range? Do you want to go Voltron? I think there's a lot of options here. I think
Dogmeat's second ability kind of tells you don't want to go Voltron. Like you really want to get as many triggers of that as you can.
Oh, it does say whenever. Well, yeah, it does say whenever a creature you control. It's not just whenever you attack or something like that. Yeah. Okay, never mind.
I think there's different ways to do that. If you want to go auras, of course, very easy. The Enchantress decks, especially aura decks, just print creatures. You have things like the Archons that make tokens and things like that. There's plenty of ways to go wide. If you want to go wide in equipment, like that Kellen from Wilds of Eldraine makes it gives you a reason to go wide with equipment. Like there's a lot of ways to do this.
There's a few equipment that make tokens as well.
Like I said, my issue with Dogmeat is just I wish the payoff was better. I really don't think the Jung tokens is that good of a payoff, personally. But that's okay. I mean, there's other Naya commanders. If you want to go either equipment or auras, you have other choices. It's not like Dogmeat is the quintessential commander. Like it's different to talk about Dogmeat than it is to talk about something like Mr. House or Mothman, who I think have a higher percentage of being probably the best commander in their colors for what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. House is, I mean, it's a great treasure commander and it's a great dice rolling commander. And considering Mardu wants to do at least treasures no matter what, it seems good. Same thing with Mothman. Like Mothman, there's Sultai build decks, of course. Like Sidisi exists, but like I think Mothman does it a little bit better because there's so many +1/+1 countergies and Sultai colors, so like it's easier to do that. Dogmeat confuses me because there's not enough there to make it that bestest, Naya commander. I think the Dogmeat is getting love because of who it is. Dogmeat is a character from the game that everybody loves, and that's why its card is seeing play.
When I saw the Dogmeat was going to be a card, I got really excited. And then I saw the card and I was like...
In fact, and this might draw me hate if that's fine, Preston Harvey, the alternate commander for this deck, I think is a better commander than Dogmeat.
I think everybody can agree with that.
Because the ability to untap your enchanted creatures is, 1, vigilance, but 2, allows you to get more mana, considering there are creatures that tap for mana that you can then enchant and untap.
Yeah, if they have an enchantment on them that says tap, do thing.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Dogmeat's at 9 over Morska, because that's not surprising. I will say though, I am kind of surprised that Vihan is above Dogmeat. Even for it being a newer commander, I'm really surprised that Dogmeat wasn't higher up on this list, because I know people were like pooping their pants over Dogmeat.
And if we were talking about this back in April, then maybe Dogmeat's like way up there.
So we're going off this list on the last month. I think it'd be interesting. Do you have the order of these 10 in decks overall? Or do you have numbers for them for decks overall?
Yeah, you just go to EDA track.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'd be intrigued to see...
Yeah, go to top commanders and then go to month.
What the actual...
Past month, maybe.
Oh, okay. So, Obika with
I knew you were
3,400. So this is as of today, April 27th.
And this is what I was going off.
And again, EDH rec numbers can be kind of odd because they don't get everything, but okay.
Well, here's the funny thing. So I knew that this list actually changed because when I looked at this, Dogmeat was actually number 8, Vihan was number 10, and Morska was still number 9. And that's kind of where I was like looking at. I was going through and I was like, wait a minute, that looks a little off.
Obika at 3,400 decks, Mothman at 2,500 basically, Voya at 1,800. Now this is just Is this just built in the last month, or this is total?
This is in the last month.
No, but this number.
That's in the last month. That has to be.
But that's not the total number. I was asking how much are the total.
So let's search Voya or something.
Okay.
No, yeah, I was about to say no. There's definitely no.
That's the number I actually care about. So that's what I was intrigued.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So overall, Obika currently sits at 3,700 decks.
Which is rank 303.
The Mothman is at 5,701, which doesn't surprise me. I expected to be more. Voya's at almost 7,000. Again, these were the numbers I was intrigued at.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's the highest in the last month, but what is it overall? Right. So now Voya has the most decks, right, and that's not surprising. Stella's sitting at about 2,000, which again is good for it being literally out for less than 2 weeks. Or you know what I mean. Mr. House is sitting at 5,200, which doesn't surprise me. Again, there's the popularity of a deck I expected to be there. Gonti is at 1,600, which is not surprising. That makes more sense. Again, here's a pre-con commander that people are probably only upgrading it if they bought the pre-con. People probably aren't out looking specifically for Gonti. Gitrog's going to be one that intrigues me. 1286. Okay, so almost 1,300 decks. That makes sense. Again, it's not the most popular commander from OTJ, so it doesn't surprise me. You then have Vihan at 1082, which makes more sense. I think that makes more sense. Now, Dogmeat, I expect to have more decks than that for sure. 1921, which makes sense. And then I haven't seen Morska yet.
There she is, in the middle. There you go.
Morska at 2,600. So again, that was the big part of this list, right? Is it wasn't who has the most decks.
No.
It was who's had the most decks built in the last month.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes to show you that, like, Mr. House, right, probably has more decks built than Stella at the moment, but it's number 5 because, you know, Stella's had more decks built in the last month because it just came out. And that's what I was talking about, like,
yep.
Those OTJ commanders are going to be scaling up on this list because it's the newest set. People are really caring about them right now. It cracks me up. I'm looking at the top past commanders of last month. I'm really surprised that Pantlaws is number 3. That is intriguing to me. It then scares me to look at then Atraxa, Praetor's Voice, and the Ur-Dragon is 4 and 5 on this list.
I feel like those two...
Still after all this time.
Those two just continue to scale up, and it just boggles my mind every single time. I get it, I guess. Everybody wants to play the Ur-Dragon because it's the best, like, tribal... commander you can play. Everybody wants to play.
Hard to disagree, but that's fine. I think Miriam's a better dragon commander personally, but I think they're both very good.
That's why I said the best. Anyways, Atraxa is really good because
Atraxa's way too good at what it does.
I just say Atraxa. I mean, I want to build
with
this
the Praetor's
Atraxa,
Voice,
but the other
it's
Atraxa.
like pick anything that cares about proliferate. Congratulations, you have the best commander you can pick for it. Yeah, this is interesting, Mikey. I think this was a great idea. This was interesting because I hadn't looked at this, so...
Yeah. No, I thought about this, of course, watching, like, an Instagram video. It wasn't even commanders. It was, like, somebody was, like, ranking, like, the most unhealthiest food or some garbage like that. Yeah, and I thought it would be fun to do this with our commanders that we've had.
The one I was intrigued at that you didn't pick that I wanted to see was Yuma, because I feel like it was the commander that I expected to be a lot more popular, and it's not as high up as I thought it would be.
That's kind of why I didn't pick it. I went off of some of the ranks. I was like, okay, I don't want to be too close to each other.
On this list, it would have came in at 8 because it's above Vihan, which would have surprised me. I would have expected it to be higher. So
did I. I was a little upset I didn't talk about it, but
And then are there any other like OTJ commanders that I'm surprised we didn't talk about?
No, I think I hit all of the ones that are like
not
top
really.
15.
I mean, I think again, you would have thrown me off with Pantlaws. I think I probably would have expected it to be lower because like LCI was so long ago. I would have expected it not to be as like high up there.
And that was something that I started to think about when I was putting the list together. I was like, oh man.
When you were grandmaster planning this in the dark room, where you're like, how do I trick him?
Yeah, my office at work. Anyways, what was really interesting is I started thinking about it. I was like, man, we only have 3 sets. Am I actually gonna get like enough out of this? Yes, I was able to get enough out of it, but I was still, like Millsy just said, like, it's really surprised looking at some of these commanders that are still up there that came out last year. You have Pantlaza, number 3 for the past month of decks made. You have Sauron, which is in Lord of the Rings, came out last year. It's number 10, I believe.
Yuriko's still up there.
Yuriko,
which surprises
me. Yeah, like you have Yuriko.
I'm intrigued. I'm going to top commanders overall, so this is overall. I want to see what the newest commander is that's gotten high up on this list. We won't count Gishath, even though it got reprinted in LCI. It doesn't count. It's been a commander longer than that. So
It's been there for a little bit.
I'm not going to count it. The newest commander on this list is...
From this year?
Just overall. Like, what's the newest...
It's Sauron. He's number... go down just a tad bit. Yeah, right there.
No, so the highest, I guess, newest would
newest, yeah. Would be Sauron.
Yeah. Would be the highest
and
newest
commander.
And I think
it's only because of popularity. Yes, the card is good. I don't think it's the best card in the command zone.
I wonder, what's the highest commander from this year?
Ooh, you have to go down a little bit.
Again, can't count Niv Mizzet, even though it was reprinted. I'm looking for new Pantlaza at 48. No, that was the end of last year.
Yep, I was like, well, hold up, wait a minute. Look at Jetty Boy. Under my Zuzu.
That's my boy.
Keep going. Goodness gracious. We probably have to go down
Ariat in the last
year. A little bit.
Wow, this just goes to show you that how the saturation is.
Yep.
Of new commanders.
Yep. Keep going.
None in the top 100. So let's keep going. Let's keep forging.
Voya
at
110.
Voya at 110, which surprises me. It's that low.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people love.
I expected Voya to be more popular than that.
I know a lot of people love this card. A lot.
Oh, I had someone I know who's gotten into Magic recently built a... so Kibo's here. Kibo Top Prince was here before. He found a custom deck box that's a barrel of monkeys. It had a Kibo deck and had a bunch of like banana tokens. And I'm like, this is the absolute greatest thing I've ever seen.
Bro.
And I lost my mind.
That's awesome.
I've been kicking around the idea of getting... There's a bunch of people that have made... Jurassic Park Gate.
Yeah.
Deck boxes. I've been thinking about getting one for Pantlaza because I feel like it just...
That would be awesome.
It seems right, but...
That would be awesome.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. The fact that you people out there love so many different commanders blows my mind sometimes because, I play most weird things sometimes. I was just telling Millsy that I built a only creatures deck out of Duskana, or however you say, the bear from... MKM Murders in
the commander set.
Yeah. And I just made it hate bears.
Another example of a deck where I like the alternate commander more than I like the face commander.
True.
Yeah.
That commander's cool. You get to play with 2/2s, and I think so. That's okay. So that was actually a thing I wanted to bring up. So one of the reasons why I made this list because I wanted just to look at not just the most popular commanders that a lot of people like so far. Being Obika, the Wise Mothman. But I also wanted to look at some of the commanders that we may or may not have been thinking about. Oh goodness gracious, what was the one I was really, really thinking about? Well, I was going to talk about Gitrog, but you did Gitrog, so I guess it really didn't matter at this point.
I joked about my secret love for Gitrog for a long time. I generally always liked his card. My problem with the original Gitrog is it's a too combo-y of a commander.
Yeah.
And so I kind of always avoided it, but the new one is it's all the value you could staple on a card, and it's more than that. I think I'm gonna proxy the deck and play it at some point just to see how much fun it is to play at an actual table. I mean, I play tested a bunch. I play tested it for the video, but it's different when you physically get at a table and you start to deal with other decks and where am I pointing it at? Who am I attacking? Because that deck is just. I've always been craving another landfall deck. It's a mechanic I've always loved, and my favorite landfall deck I've ever built was Teamer Omnath.
Oh, no, yeah, I remember it. Yeah, that was one of the first decks I played against you with. Yeah,
and I love that deck. Love the deck for sure. It's a fun deck, but the idea of Golgari landfall, and it's kind of bonkers at what it does.
It's dumb.
It's dumb.
It's dumb.
It's really dumb.
So I can say commander Mr. House, right?
Yeah.
So Mr. House is really synergistic with one strategy, and I guess not, because technically you're still worried about treasures and blah blah blah. But like, if you really want to have fun with it, you roll the dice, right? You don't just. I feel like you don't just make treasures in that deck. And if that's all you're doing in the deck, then okay, cool, good for you.
I mean, the treasures are just an easy way to bankroll whatever strategy you want to do, and I use that word specifically. Like, you're just finding a way to fund what you want to do with treasures.
Nice. Be cool.
You know, I just wish there were more dice rolling cards in Mardu.
Well, what I was gonna say is, do you wish there were more commanders that did a specific thing to help a deck, or do you like it better when there's just a commander that just is just value, like just straight value? So like basically what I'm saying is, do you want a Mr. House that says roll dice, have fun, make treasures, have fun? Or do you want to play a commander like Atraxa that says, basically do whatever the heck you want?
I think a lot of times it depends on what my goal for the deck is, but more often than not, I would say I want more Mr. Houses than I want Atraxas.
I agree.
Like, at the end of the day, it's going to lead to better deck diversity to have more Mr. Houses than it will to have more Atraxas.
Yep.
You look at the 10 commanders we talked about today. Arguably, we have one of the good stuff commanders, and maybe two, I guess, technically, but more of this list is a do something specific.
Yeah. Yep. And
Voya is definitely the biggest, I think the biggest culprit on this list of being too much good stuff, because you're putting one of the most popular creature types in the game with one that's but it's the colors you're putting it in that make it good.
Yep.
Right? In Naya, you have so many combat focused effects and things like that you're asking to get this deck out of control. Whereas other ones, I'm like, you say what you want about Mothman, but I like it as a commander because it did something and it did it well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's, I guess, the only saving grace for that card for me is like it does something super different because it's rad counters. We've never seen that before. It is mill, so we have seen that before, which is one of the weaker strategies I think we could talk about or say that is pretty weak. But I think it does it interestingly, which is nice. I like that.
I would always rather a commander do something and do it in a fun way than just, be another Atraxa.
Yeah.
Even if it means that out of 10 times Wizard shanks a couple of them and they end up being terrible, I still would rather them take the shot.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, we're getting something better rather than being afraid to do it because they think they're going to fail.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing we don't talk about enough in our format is, everyone likes to go there's too many legendaries. How dare they put more legendaries in my game?
Yeah. Sometimes I think that, yeah.
But at the same time, even if you can't play a new commander, it may go in the 99 on one of your decks, and it could be just as influential.
So, like, I'm going to be talking about 2 Boros commanders here, which is weird because I don't even play Boros. But I talked in the live stream about, I just forgot her name, the...
Nelly Borka.
Nelly Borka, and how she suspects things. I think suspect was a really cool mechanic that they did. I don't think they need to go, like, super hard and be like, oh yeah, suspect support all day. It's like, no. The commander does what you want it to do. Your deck just needs to support it somehow, in a way. I don't know. I just personally don't know how you want to do that. I'd say probably just go Goad and have fun. But
and I still think Goad has its issues as a strategy.
And then another commander that I could talk about is one from OTJ. I cannot remember its name right off the top of my head. Millsy Stall, while I figure this out.
Hey guys, do you like trading cards? I'm assuming so since you're watching this podcast. You should buy more Magic cards. And if you want to buy Magic cards from me, if that's something you care about, the link to my store is going to be down in the description below. I'm still a small store, so I may not have everything you exactly want, but I would appreciate it. If in the comments you mention Hometown Commander, I will sign a random comment and include it in your order. Let's go to what you...
I love it. Heck yeah. So
I planned to throw that out at some point, but you just said stall, and I said, cool, we're going to do it.
There you go. Buy cards. So
buy cardboard. Anyway.
Speaking of cards, this card is, I'm going to butcher this probably, but Tai Joaquin.
This card...
It's
intrigues
cool.
me.
It
intrigues me so much.
So it's Tai Joaquin, perfect shot. It's a 2-mana, 1 red, 1 white, 2/3 legendary human mercenary. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to a creature equal to that creature's toughness, draw a card. X, you can pay X, tap it, If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player this turn, it deals that much damage plus X instead. So, first off, the bottom ability, you're getting to have fun with X spells, basically.
Hold on. Is that a gun? Is she holding a gun? Not in my Magic. I'm just kidding.
Anyways, no, it's actually called something else. I don't know what it's called, but it's called something else.
It's like a thunder rifle or something.
Thunder something.
They got around it, definitely.
Yeah, Thundercats. Ho. Anyway.
So interesting. So you care about dealing damage equal to its toughness.
So you can draw.
And you have a way to basically affect it if need be, add it or whatever.
What's cool is it doesn't say once per turn, so this commander actually can do more stuff, and you actually get more cards out of it than what you think. It also can be like a multiple effect. So if you play like it's like electric trickery is the first card that came to mind for some reason. But it says like deal 1 damage to each creature. Here's a fun thing. If somebody's playing a lot of 1/1 tokens and you play a card like that, you get to draw a ton of cards.
It's a shame this isn't in red.
Oh, wait.
Red.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it was, this would be a great card for that Judith deck that came out of MKM.
Yeah.
Where you can give all your spells Death Touch. You wouldn't draw off those.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not equal to it, though.
But here's why. Here's why I'm saying that. Because that deck is already playing Electrify, because you can just nuke an entire board of creatures. But basically, the reason I think this would be cool in mono red is this would go in there as a draw engine for that deck. Because then all the tokens you're dealing a damage to, you're drawing when they die. And it would be a great payoff for what it's already... you mean you're paying off what it's already doing?
I was going to say, it's already doing that, though. That's what I just explained.
No. What Judith is already trying to do.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Because Judith is playing those Electrify effects to just kill an entire board because you're giving it Death Touch.
Yep.
What I'm saying is this would give it another draw outlet to make the deck even better. It doesn't need it. That deck is great in its own right. Yeah. But I'm just saying it would be kind of interesting.
I think this card is really cool. I think it makes Burn have draw finally, which is great. The fact that you could pay X into any spell or any source. I mean, it could be like your Gutter Snipe. Oh no, those only go to opponent. Sorry.
This could be good in like a Fire Song and Sunspeaker deck. Like
yes.
If you're playing something like that, this probably goes in there.
Yeah. That's actually a fantastic example.
Yeah, I don't know how much I like this as a commander, but I think this is great in a deck like that.
I don't think it's a great commander by saying it is good. I think it's a great commander by if you're a casual player, which fun fact, a lot of us, if not all of us, play casual commander. No, it is really cool. I think it's not going to be popular. I think if you're looking for something that's kind of off the wall, but not necessarily niche, not too niche, because you can go a lot of ways with this. But I also think that you can do a lot of fun things with this.
So if you had asked me to guess how many decks were built in EDH Rec, which I just clicked on, it's now up in front of us. The answer is 610, and I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have guessed a lot less than that. So, EDH Rec has their series where they do the over-under, or what is it, like 200 or 300 decks, and they say whether or not they think that deck is going to eclipse that. I would have guessed under. In fact, I'm very surprised it has 610.
Well, we can actually click on that article. It's right there. We're just kind of going.
Oh my god.
We're just rolling. This is fantastic.
It's cracked.
It would be in... I don't know what it would be in. It's not in the color. So, anyways, just...
Okay, so they're setting it at 1,200. So they're guessing whether or not it's over or under 1,200, which I would have guessed under for sure.
Yeah.
Which was right. But, I mean... This is the thing I think a lot of us complain about in Commander, but what I really like is that these commanders exist for the people that want them. If I want the commanders I want other people to have the commanders they want. Yes.
This makes Crackle with Power cheaper.
No, it doesn't.
You don't pay X for Crackle with Power.
Oh, yes, in the sense that you do more damage than you paid for. Yes, but it doesn't make the spell cheaper. Like, yes, you get bonus.
Yeah. So wait, hang on.
Tinfoil hat time.
Hang on. Anytime I can play Crackle with Power and do something stupid with it, I'm gonna do something stupid with it. Now, I need to go back to the creature. It's a sorcerer, yeah, and it's probably not played because no one knows this now. And they're going to learn it now from me.
I'm big mad.
So anyways, it says, if a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much plus X instead, so you wouldn't get the multiply effect.
You would. It would be multiply plus X.
So what I'm saying is if you just paid the red mana for...
You'd have to put 1 into X.
Okay, so if you put 1 in... Well, because you can't...
You can't put 0 into an X spell.
Can't put... But it says plus. It doesn't say multiply.
No, what we're saying, for Crack with Power, you have to put 1 into X.
Oh, I thought you could.
I guess maybe you could put 0.
I thought you could put 0 on the stack.
On that. But either way, you wouldn't want to, because you're just going to get 1 damage on Crack with Power. And my question is, you don't want to put 0 on Crack with Power because you actually won't get any damage because you won't pick a target. Remember, it deals X.
I need to know the proper wording so I can kind of
remember, Crack with Power says up to X targets.
I mean, either way, you're still going to pay less and it's going to be fantastic. But okay. Anyways,
it deals 5 times X damage to each up to X targets. If you put 0, you actually won't get a target. You don't get any
targets. So yeah, so you would at least.
So you could at least pay 1.
Yeah.
Doing 6 damage to 1 target at minimum with tapping. Yeah. That creature
and
for
if you
1.
wanted to do all 3 opponents, then you could pay
3 in each X.
3 in each. Oh, that's a lot.
So 11 mana for a Crack with Power, and then you just pick the amount you want into your tie and just deal that much damage.
That's still a lot.
I will tell you which it could be good depending on what you're doing or how you're getting the mana, but I don't know how. I can't think of a scenario why you wouldn't just dump the mana into Crack with Power.
Well, so I was thinking that you would be
or you copy the Crack with Power after you cast it and you profit. That's my...
I mean, well, duh. But, no, I was thinking that if you, paid the minimum amount to hit all 3 opponents, so, unfortunately, that's a lot.
11.
Yeah, that's a lot. Mana. That's 11 mana, whether you like it or not. Just to hit, what are you doing? You're hitting them for 3 times 5, you're doing 15 damage. So 9 colorless mana right there, plus the 2, that's 11. So then you tap, let's say you tap for, I was gonna say 2 more on Ty Joaquin, and what you add? Do you just add the 2 to that? I guess.
Yeah, the problem is you're better off putting that. Going up 1, putting the 3 mana just into Crack with Power to get 5 extra damage. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what
it's this odd ability where you got to figure out where your dials are.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if you would get the multiply effect or not, and I don't think you do.
No,
because I only thought that because it said it deals that damage, so the spell is still doing the damage, not Ty Joaquin.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh, maybe that is how that works.
Cards are hard. It's tough.
When Magic makes a new card, it makes my brain big words.
Well, Mikey, we played your game. We both had a good time.
Wait, did that have an alternate art to Crash World Power?
It does, yeah.
What? We haven't seen it yet?
No.
Dang.
Every Mythic breaking news has a textured foil.
Oh, I didn't mean the texture foil. We just haven't seen the actual... I haven't seen that card at all.
You haven't seen Crack with Power at all?
No,
the new one?
In person. We haven't pulled it. We've pulled, what? We've done, what?
Yeah, no, I have seen the regular one. I haven't seen the Royalist one.
Oh, I haven't seen any of it.
But, yeah.
That's such a... What the heck?
Quint Blaster Inventor promises 5 times the fun.
I'm done. Yeah, so we played the game.
It's almost like the card cares about 5s. Anyway,
we played the game. Did you have fun?
I had fun.
Good.
This was good. We just do this once a month for the rest of the time. I was gonna.
No, that wouldn't work, unfortunately.
No, it would get boring. I feel like
yeah. No, I also just wanted to kind of take a step away from talking about a certain set, or anything like that. Even though.
What do you mean? We're gonna talk about OTJ forever.
No, it is good, but it's not that good. We got MH3 on the horizons. Oh, I did not mean to say it like that, but yeah.
If you're still around, I want to mention something that's gonna become a thing eventually. We as a channel have kind of always had the stance that we don't want to talk about anything officially on the channel if it's not officially confirmed.
Oh, yeah.
Modern Horizons 3's had a bunch of leaks going around, and we're not going to do any shorts or anything on it until it's officially spoiled.
Yep.
It's not because I don't think that the leaks are real. I think they are. It's that I think it sets a bad precedence, and I think, kind of flies in the face of what the point is of spoiler season.
Yeah.
So whether or not we may be already caring about those cards or talking about them in our, circles or whatever that is, that's the case. but I'm not going to make any content on anything until it's officially released.
Which, I'll peel back the curtain. Our group is talking about them. Like, I mean, you have to. Like, if you're playing Magic and you see the leak, you're gonna talk about it.
Shout out to people who leak cards having the worst cameras I've ever seen in my life.
I don't understand it. But anyways, yeah, I'm glad that we can talk about it. I'm glad that it gives us something to talk about. The issue is, I think... I mean, we can go off on a lot of tangents here, but I don't really know what the issue is. I mean, maybe there's too many sets. Maybe there's too many cards coming out every year. Maybe there's not enough cards coming out every year. Maybe because people just suck.
I think the problem is people get used to this perpetual new thing cycle.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And we have weeks off where there isn't new things. I think people just have relapses and they need new things.
What's the issue is like you just had a set with like, oh, I don't know, 30 commanders? Yeah, go build a new deck.
If not more than that.
Go build a new deck.
And believe
Go build Ty Joaquin.
We will talk about Modern Horizons 3 and we will beat it to absolute death. Believe, I will brew around it. It will be a thing.
You're talking to an Eldrazi player. You're talking to a scrub.
You're not wrong.
I'm just kidding.
So, yes, we've seen them.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to talk about them until it becomes time.
I mean,
the other reason is, I mean, heck, we don't know. We could at some point be given preview cards. We could be given content from Wizards. We have no idea.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but you never know. And I don't want to be the channel that if we ever got approached to do that, they would go, well, no, you talk about the leaks. And it's like, okay, well, the entire internet talks about the leaks. Sure, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
Who am I to not talk about it?
My other thought about it is it kind of ruins the OTJ content we're all in the middle of making. We're all in the middle of talking about. We're all in the middle of caring about. You know, yes, that's coming out in June, and it'll be there when it's there. You know, previews are in like 4 weeks, but it's crazy to me that like, you know, we as a community complain that there's too much new stuff, but then we poop our pants when there's leaks from the next set, and it's just like you can't have both sides of it. You have to pick one. You're either mad because there's too much stuff, or you're happy when leaks come out.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just me personally. So, yeah, the cards are cool, for sure. I'm intrigued by some of the choices, for sure. But, hey, we technically don't know that they're real.
True.
I mean, I have a tough time believing that some of them aren't real. But, again, we don't know that for sure yet.
I guess I thought it was cool to confirm some things. I thought it was cool to talk about some other things.
I did actually have a conversation yesterday night when I went to play about the supposed Eldrazi commander, and got to have an argument about why I think Zuludok's still a better commander.
Because he is.
And I was told that the answer was no, and I was like, ooh, doubt it.
Then I'll come play Zuludok, and then he'll be like, oh.
Yeah, persex to doubt. And the reason I say that is yes, the new commander is supposedly a certain mana cost, and Zuludok is what it is. But Cascade is a busted mechanic.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Do you want to cascade twice?
I don't know. That's just my view. That's just my view personally. We'll talk about it more when we get there. But
yeah, man.
Thank y'all so much for watching.
Yeah, hope you guys are enjoying what we have so far. I think the commanders that we have, the new commanders that we have so far, whether it be from precons or any of the sets, I think you can build a deck around any of them and have a good time. I was talking to a friend of ours, who cares? Everybody's a friend to me, and everybody's a friend to you. Should be.
Except my enemies, they know who they are.
So anyways, and I asked him, I showed him EDH rec for like the first time, and I was like, yeah, you can look at like the top commanders if you want to, and he's like, I don't want to make a top commander, I want to make like one that nobody has. And I was like, that's the attitude we need to be having most often. Like, I want to sit at a table and be like, huh, what does that do? Rather than be like, oh...
I just want you to find the mechanic you love and play the absolute hell out of it.
Please do. Please do.
I was talking to a new player last night, and he was talking about how he felt that the idea of making a deck for the first time is scary. I'm like, oh, it's bonkers.
It is.
The amount of things you'd have to try to consume to make a deck is crazy. The great part is we have resources like EDH or Scryfall to make one. But I said, find something you like playing. Like, find a deck that you think you'll enjoy to try to brew, and don't just brew something for the sake of making a deck. Like, find something you really think you're going to like, because it's going to make the process easier than feeling like you're locked into, one commander.
I laughed out loud in my living room earlier today, and my wife, she looked at me, and she normally does when I randomly laugh at a video, and goes, I don't even want to know. And it was the Command Zone. It was Josh Lee Quay. Josh Lee Quay, or golly, I can't even say his name. Anyways, Josh and golly.
Jimmy,
thank you.
You have to know their names contractually.
I don't need
in order
to
to
know
make
their
Commander
names.
content on YouTube, I don't know if you guys actually know, we're going to walk through it. You're forced to know their names and interact with them. I'm getting like
Post Malone was on their show. No, anyways, I laughed because they talked about the same conversation. They were like, "Oh man, building a deck is very like daunting, don't you think, Jimmy?" And Jimmy was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, it could be like one of the most difficult things ever." And then they started listing off things. It probably was an edited video, of course, because it was on Instagram. But they started listing off like what you need in a deck. And the first thing they talked about were you need, okay, so fun fact, we have 99 cards in our format that you put in a deck. They said you need 10 to 15 card draw, 10 to 15 ramp, 10 to 15 single target removal, 5 to 6 or 4 to 6, 4 to 5, 3 to 5 board wipes, and then something else. And then Jimmy goes, "Oh yeah, and lands. You need lands as well. They're very important." And he goes, "I don't put any lands past or below 35. So you're going to go 35 to 38 lands." And I literally just built a deck with 33 lands and going, yeah, I feel fine about that.
Yeah.
But, sorry. I'm
Chronic 34, but sure.
Right, yeah. I like 34, 35 myself. But what I laughed at was that's not the first thing I think about when I'm building a deck. That's not the first thing I thought about when I built my first deck. The first thing I wanted to think about was, what cool thing can I do?
How do I get to 99? Was my first question.
True, yeah. But what cool thing can I do and make this pile of cards do? And that's all I wanted to know. Cool thing, fun thing, how many elves can I fit into this deck was something like that too, right? Not, oh man, I need to make sure that I optimize my deck in the right way. No, dude, nobody cares about that. That's not the first thing you want to do when you build your deck. So I go back to my point earlier. There's the guy saying, I don't care what the top deck is. I want to build a deck nobody has, but I also want it to be something I like doing. And that's why I liked your point too. If you see something you like, build the heck out of it. Play the heck out of it. Don't look at the Atraxas, the Urs, and the Mirrors, and the elves at the top of the list and everything and go, man, there's probably a reason why they're top. Yes, there is a reason why they're at the top of the list, because they are good for what they do.
Now, if you pick a strategy and you generally like Atraxa as my best commander for that, go for it.
Yes.
I don't care at the end of the day. There's a lot of people that are going to say something about it, but to me, you're going to lose no matter what. You're going to play a card or you're going to play a commander that someone's going to have an opinion on, and that's just the part of the game.
What I've learned, though, is it's not the commander. It's not. It is the 99 cards that go in, because you're going to play the 99 more than you're probably going to play your commander, unless you're just playing a commander-based deck like Voltron or something. Maybe.
Unless your commander wins you the game, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like the third monitor sitting in front of you.
Anyways, but yes, so all that to say, just find something you like. Don't worry about the top of the list. Don't worry about the most optimized pieces that you can put in your deck either. Fun fact, I don't think I have a deck that has 3 board wipes in every single one of them. I don't even think I have 2 in every single one of them. I think I have 1 in most, and that's
Man, why wipe the board?
I would rather see people play their cards. I don't know.
And this is something I think we both agree on, which is that part of me, the fun part of building a deck isn't putting the list together. It's how a deck grows as you play it.
Yes.
It's learning more, changing the deck, making it better. That's the part of the deck I love the most. I also really enjoy putting decks together, but I really enjoy the process. You get to learn so much about who you are as a player, what you look for in a deck. Believe me, there's plenty of decks where I've gone, this is a perfect list on paper, and I play it and did the deck
sucks.
work? Yes. Did I hate it? Yes. And never playing this deck again.
I also love the players, so I interact with a lot of new players, and I love the ones that are still playing on precons or maybe slightly upgraded precons, and I constantly try my best to bash them over the head with my words of, just wait until you build an entire deck from the ground up, because once you do that and get away from all the precon commanders, not saying the precon commanders are bad, not saying don't play them, all I'm saying is when you finally hatch your own little commander deck baby, you start to realize that there's a lot more that this game has to offer, even just beyond the
There are
precons.
thousands and thousands of cards, Mikey.
There are, 20,000 commanders you can get, right? Something like that. Somebody help me with that. Somebody in the comments, just say, Mikey, you're wrong. Don't count the.
Literally get Rex Scrub.
There's over 2,000 creatures and a handful of planeswalkers that could be your commander. Yeah, no, come on, you have over 2,000 options.
What we're saying is that you, the viewer, need to build a...
Nope, go back up. It's a reflection boy. Right there. Whatever that is.
Illyrios Enraptured, a 3-mana creature from Theros Beyond Death and Uncommon that does literally nothing. You need to build that. That's what we're saying. Nah,
you can, is what we're saying.
Take nothing away from this video. Well,
Mikey, I feel like I got $5 really good.
I feel like we gave the people the content they paid for. I feel like
They paid for this?
We danced on the flames.
Not a drink. That stinks.
Did they pay for this? No.
But also yes.
But yes.
Guys, thank you so much. You got anything else?
Is now the time that I can plug my MLM, or is it like another time?
So guys, thank you so much for watching. No, thank you so much for watching. We cannot wait to see you the next one. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, obviously leave that like, do all the stuff that you're supposed to do. Continue to go subscribe to Hometown Games. We need those subscriptions.
We do need the subs.
So we can continue to live stream over there all the other games that we're playing, like Star Wars Unlimited, Warhammer 40k, Lorcana, some random board game that I'll probably find one day and be like, we're going to play this, and you're going to be like, what the heck is that?
The Harry Potter TCG? I'm just kidding.
Any hoosers. We will see you next time.